All right. James Kaufman, World News Report today. Ladies and gentlemen, today is Halloween, October 31st, 2024. And I think we have a feed. Let's make sure it's live. Excellent connection. It's not live yet, but it should be now. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to go into crazy. I had this pulled up very, very well. Golly. Let's see what happened here. They have done something to me. There's a back button here. Now let me know if we are live. Alright, this is not how it was set up, but we'll go with it, okay? Halloween, folks. We're going to learn all about Halloween, another pagan holiday adopted by the Catholic Church, right? Kind of like Christmas, has nothing to do with Jesus. Well, Halloween has little to do with anything except for a pagan holiday. But we're going to learn all the ins and outs of the jack-o'-lantern and how it came in play, and how the words trick or treat came in play. And we're going to learn the origins of Halloween. Halloween is a holiday celebrated each year on the 31st of October, and Halloween 2024 occurs, of course, today, Thursday, October 31st. The tradition originated with the ancient Celtic festival of it's Samhain, and I really don't know what they did to me here. If you hit Samhain here, yeah, Samhain. All right, well, they've switched everything on me. It might be because I'm using a smaller screen. It is. It's because I'm using a smaller screen, folks. This is how nice I had it set up. But I'd like to see you guys chat, so I'm going to have to do it the tough way, I guess, right? Do it the tough way, if anyone's there to chat. All right. Wow, it's so much better on the full screen. Halloween is a holiday celebrated each year on October 31st, and Halloween 2024 occurred today, Thursday, October 31st. This is going to be kind of hodgepodge, but I'm covering everything. I was the Uber driver tonight, and I want to start this off by saying all the prayers y'all said last night were miraculous. Let me just say how miraculous they were. It's hard to believe, and if I could show you on my phone and take a picture of it, as soon as we turned our live off, my daughter texts me. She said, "Dad, are you awake?" This is a true story. After Miss Teresa said that prayer, this is a true story, 100% true. I said, "Sure I am, sweetheart. What's going on?" She said, "Dad, I've got to get all this work in by tomorrow, and I don't know the answers." I said, "Well, I can help." I said, "Why don't you FaceTime me?" So, from 1 till 6 a.m., we FaceTimed. This is a true story yesterday, okay? 1 to 6 a.m., we FaceTimed. The only thing we had problems with was the last 5 questions on a math test, which were really, really hard. Me being on full scholarship because of my math abilities, supposedly an old genius before the stroke. There were those last 5 questions. I showed her that we could narrow them down to 2 answers each. I went to sleep and told her I would be over at 1 today Well, she went ahead and guessed at the last 5, which is fine. If she got half of them, I know we got at least a 75 on it. There were 20 total questions. The last 5 were so hard. I've forgotten all of this. At such a high level, it's unbelievable. Anyway, we sat on FaceTime from 1 to 6 a.m. and we got all of her history, all of her, every one of her classes done so she could go on Halloween tonight. And even though her mom promised, her mom was so mad that I was up helping her all night long. She acted like her knee was hurt so bad. So I was the Uber driver tonight. I picked up 4 little girls and brought them to the party. And one of the moms is going to pick them up and bring them home at midnight. I hope. Right, Halloween is, I want to thank Miss Teresa and all you guys because I think that really made all that happen. I really can't explain it any other way. Halloween is a holiday celebrated each year on October 31st, and Halloween 2024 occurred today. The tradition originated with the ancient Celtic festival of, and I have it right here, Samhain. And really what it is, it's a festival where the days become darker, longer, and they believe that the veil between the living and dead was the thinnest on this day. This is a Celtic festival. I'll teach y'all the difference of that and Halloween that we celebrate, which is All Hallows Eve before All Saints Day tomorrow. So I'll teach y'all all this, but let's keep going. I won't be able to see y'all's text for a second or chats. Hopefully someone's chatting. Let me look. Someone chatting? It's happy. If Miss Teresa's here and all you guys that said a prayer, gosh, y'all made it work out. That's all I can think. So happy. Soweth. How do you pronounce it? Samhain. And that also is a day where they made sure that all of the things that they harvested and all the animals that they killed were put up properly for storage. And originally it was a day of fast in the Christian church for tomorrow, All Saints Day. But in the Celtic celebration, it was a bit different. When people would light bonfires, guess what? They were really bone fires. Bone fires. The bones of all the animals that they had, processed and wear costumes. They didn't really wear costumes. What they did is they used the ash of the bone fire and put it all over their face. And this was a day back with the Celtics that they thought that people that wouldn't go on to the afterlife, they could force them to go. So people would hide their faces with the ash from the, not bonfires, but bone fires. It later turned into bonfires. And those were the costumes. So this is a bit off. They disguise themselves, and that's where, believe it or not, it's called guising, and that's where the word disguise comes from. This festival, disguise, guising. And they put ashes all over their face so that the evil spirits, because all the spirits, including their relatives and the evil spirits, well, it was the thinnest day, thinnest veil between the afterlife, i.e. all the evil and good spirits, and the living world. So they would disguise themselves, and if they recognized one of their descendants that they wanted to help into the afterlife, then they would go to them, and it was called guising. Again, that's where the word disguise comes from. In the 8th century, Pope Gregory III designated November 1st, and this is wrong, okay? He did designate this in the 8th century, but before that, it was already designated twice by 2 other popes, as we will learn, as a time to honor all the saints who don't have their own day. Soon, All Saints Day, that's November 1st, tomorrow, believe it or not, so y'all say a prayer, incorporated some of the traditions of, Samhain, right? The evening before was known as All Hallows Eve and later Halloween. And we'll go into how the jack-o'-lantern came up and everything. Over time, Halloween evolved into a day of activities like trick-or-treating. We'll even explain what that's about. Carving jack-o'-lanterns, we'll definitely explain what that's about. Festive gatherings, we'll explain who started that and what that's about. And donning costumes, i.e. disguises, and eating treats, really asking for cakes. Or the trick-or-treat is give us this type of cake or we'll vandalize your property. All right. Samhain, word pronounced Samhain, is a pagan religious festival originating in the ancient Celtic spiritual tradition. It is usually celebrated from October 31st to November 1st to welcome in the harvest and usher in the dark half of the year. Celebrants believe that the barriers between the physical world and the spiritual world would break down during Samhain, allowing more interaction between humans and denizens of the other world. All right, I'm going to see if I can go back to normal. All right. Hey, guys, I had to go back to normal there. So I've got so much information for you guys. It's going to be a little piecemeal because, again, I was the Uber driver for the 4 girls tonight. So, how did Halloween become popular in the 20th century? It's the second biggest commercialized holiday. I thought maybe Valentine's Day or Mother's Day was, behind Christmas. Second biggest one. Like Christmas, it was commercialized. Pre-made costumes, decorations, special candy all became available. The Christian origins, which it's a pagan holiday, from the holiday were downplayed. All right, what is the first American version of Halloween? As the beliefs and customs of different European ethnic groups, mostly, believe it or not, Ireland, and the American Indians meshed, a distinctively American version of Halloween began to emerge. This is in the 1800s. The first celebration includes play parties, which were public events held to celebrate the harvest. And again, the bonfires or bone fires. Neighbors would share stories of the dead, tell each other fortunes, dance, and sing. Well, you're going to find out why they did all that. Because all the kids went around vandalizing, and Miss Krabs out of Kansas was actually her name. She tried to tire all the kids in her town out, and it didn't work out the first year. They still vandalized her crops in her town. So the second year, she made it some huge celebration, and I have that story too, and tired the kids out. That's why it's a huge celebration now, because they were vandalizing everything. What they did is put on disguises or guises, i.e. the ashes, and they would go around and just vandalize things. They didn't ask for treats. Although it did start in Europe, the UK, and Ireland, where they asked for, and I'll show you the type of sweet bread they wanted, or they would vandalize your house. That scared the heck out of me. God bless you. Sewing. All right. Again, I've done this before, but this is going to have a lot more information in it than before. It's just a little bit piecemeal, so I do apologize. I was up till 6 doing 33 homework assignments in 5 hours. So, and I got everything right. Imagine trying to do on your iPhone to iPhone all these computer problems. It was, and y'all said the prayer last night. She called me 5 minutes after I went dead, and I was about to watch Gutfield or something, and she called me and saying, "Dad, I've got 13 things to do. Mom's not going to let me go on whatever tomorrow night." She still was pissed off that I helped her. But you know what? That's what dads are supposed to do. That prayer y'all said last night, she called, either she was listening or she called at 105, and we worked together and got all of the assignments done. Except for 5 answers on the math assignment. I was supposed to go over at 1, but she had already turned it in when I woke up about 10. 4 hours of sleep, so I'm a little bit off, but I'm good. All right. How did Americans celebrate Halloween? They celebrated by inviting students and military families over for some Halloween. A lot of this is going to be incorrect, and I'm going to have to correct them because I've done a lot of investigation tonight. Americans began to dress up in costumes, i.e., the ashes that the pagans put on their faces to hide from the spirits, right? And go house to house asking for food or money, a practice that eventually became today's trick-or-treat. But really, it started over in Western Europe, where they demanded sweet bread, and this is for, really, Jerome. All Hallows Eve is tonight, and All Hallows Day or All Saints Day is tomorrow, November 1st. Though that's not the day it started out as, okay? All Hallows Eve falls on October 31st each year. It is the day before All Hallows Day or All Saints Day. These are the saints that don't have a designated day. There's a few saints that do, right? And we go over Saint Christmas or Christian, although that's a pagan holiday too. That's Saturnalia. In the Christian calendar, the church traditionally held a vigil on All Hallows Eve when worshippers, they adopted this from the pagans, would prepare themselves with prayer, fasting prior to the feast day tomorrow to celebrate all the saints. The name derived from the Old English hallowed means holy or sanctified. It is now usually contracted to the more familiar word Halloween. Halloween. That's it. A brief history of the festival. In the early 7th century, 600 AD, Pope Boniface IV consecrated the Pantheon in Rome, formerly a temple to all the gods. He shouldn't have done that, should he have? A church dedicated to Saint Mary and the martyrs, and ordered that the day, the 13th of May, should be celebrated every year for all the martyrs and all the saints. Became All Saints' Day, a day to honor all the saints, and later, the behest of Pope Urban IV, 1264, a day specifically to honor those saints who did not have a festival day of their own. But in the 8th century, on the 1st of November, Pope Gregory III dedicated a chapel to all the saints in St. Peter's Basilica in Rome. Gregory IV then made the festival universal throughout the church. That's the Catholic Church, of course. And the 1st of November has subsequently become All Saints' Day for the church and the Western Church. And this is All Hallows Day is the same thing as All Saints' Day. And this is All Hallows Eve, the night before All Saints' Day. The Orthodox Church celebrates All Saints' Day on the first Sunday after Passover, a date closer to the original 13th of May. All right. Blow my nose. How's everybody doing tonight? Appreciate the cup of coffee. Seriously, I'm trying to end the month off with a good month here. And if anyone can help by sharing is helping. They're the same. I'd just as much rather see you share as contribute, or both. It's great, right? All Saints' Day, also known as All Hallows Day, the Feast of All Saints, the Feast of All Hallows, the Solemnity of All Saints, and Hallow Mass is a Christian, feast day celebrated in honor of all the saints of the church, whether they are known or unknown. From the 4th century, feasts commemorating all Christian martyrs were held in various places on various dates near Easter and Pentecost. We talked about that, May 13th. But we also talked about Pope Gregory IV. It's like he got shot in the head there. And he's the one that moved it to November 1st. If All Hallows Day is November 1st, All Hallows Eve is today, October 31st. The Western Christianity is still celebrated on the 1st of November. The Roman Catholic Church, as well as many Protestant churches such as the Lutheran, Anglican, and Methodist traditions. The Eastern Orthodox Church, associated with Eastern Catholics and Eastern Lutherans, celebrated on the first Sunday after Pentecost, which is closer to the 13th of May. Now, this is not as interesting, so we're not going to go into that. All right, let's continue. Pardon me. Halloween is known for spooky decorations, candy, costumes, and the occasional trick or treat. But did you know that Halloween has religious origins? Well, they're wrong. It's a pagan holiday that was adopted by the Catholic Church, like every single holiday the Catholic Church celebrates. I've shown y'all and done videos on every single. Can one person name a holiday that they think is a real Catholic holiday? You better not say Saturnalia. You better not say Easter. You better not say anything, pretty much, because they've all been stolen from pagan holidays. I did reports on every single one of them extensively. All right. Often traced to Celtic festival roots, of course, carries significant Catholic ancestry from All Hallows Eve, the vigil before All Saints' Day. This post will examine how All Hallows Eve and Halloween are evolved and endured over the centuries. And we're really not going to go too much into this here. We're just going to keep going. Now, I want to first teach y'all about jack-o'-lantern, the jack-o'-lantern. Do y'all see that this is not a jack-o'-lantern? It's a, let me see, I have notes that I took. It's a, what is it, a fig? I've been taking notes. A turnip. It's a turnip. The pumpkin was originally a turnip. Trickery Jack carried around. He tricked the devil so he could not go to hell, but God would not let him in heaven. So he went around as an evil spirit and used a turnip that he carved holes in as his only light, right? The Irish brought this to the U.S., and they decided that the pumpkin was easier to carve than a turnip, and that's where we got the jack-o'-lantern from what's his name? Stingy Jack, Tricky Jack. He's got a bunch of different names here. And I wanted to know, y'all to know how we got the legend of Stingy Jack. He tricked the devil so that he wouldn't go to heck, but he was never allowed into heaven. So he still supposedly walks through Ireland, rural Ireland, and carries this turnip. And the Irish are big believers in Halloween. And now they turned it in, after they moved to the U.S., into the pumpkin because it's really harvested during this time period, and it's much easier to make into a light or lantern. Right? Lantern. There's Stingy Jack. Well, too outstanding, outsmarted the devil. The price, wandering earth with a candlelit lantern till Judgment Day. And this kind of goes through unfit for heaven and won't go to hell. His ghost is forced to walk the earth until the day of doom. A lantern in his hand he bears, the way by night to show, and for its flame he got the name of Jack Oh, lantern, right? Jack with a lantern. Humble jack-o'-lantern pumpkin shell. There was never a pumpkin. Remember, it was a turnip. A turnip. Let me get this out of y'all's way. Well, I didn't know about that, William. I didn't know about that, William. I really wasn't into doing that video. Can y'all believe I got so mad today thinking about the Pope introducing Lucy, and then I covered it. I wanted to be more, I told y'all I wasn't down with it, but I wanted y'all to know that someone put up some of the verses of the Bible. I mean, we're not supposed to put up things to worship like that. And it really made me mad. There's so much hidden meaning in that little, they call it an animine. Is that right? Animine? Y'all help me out there. I'm not into these kids' toys. But there's so much hidden crap in there. And it's just it's an idol. It's something that should have never been created. And it came from, of course, this Pope, who's been the very worst Pope, I think. I don't even think he was supposed to be Pope. Believe it or not, the guy that wrote the letter was next up to be Pope, and they discommunicated him, not for this letter, but from a letter he wrote last year. So, so many of these people have it wrong, and just reading through stories, I found out how many of them had it wrong. If anyone wants to add something that I have missed, please add it. I don't mind looking up anything. That'd be awesome. And trust me, I'm not saying I'm covering it all tonight. Again, I've been Ubering 4 little girls around, which they were very nice. I was just hoping their costume blood wouldn't get on the seats of my car. Pumpkins took the place of turnips. Great Britain to North America, mid-1800s, I told you. And we've got a lot to cover. I'm going to pull up my little cheat sheet, and we're going to go over some of the things there on the cheat sheet. I'll move it over here, and at least y'all will know this now. I'll know the cheat sheet, and we'll go on from there, okay? Damn it. Excuse me. Let's watch my cheat sheet. I put some stuff together. So, guys, in ashes from bonfires, not bonfires. That's how the bonfire got started. They would burn the bones of all the animals back in Celtic times that they got ready for the winter season where they couldn't hunt, right? And they burned the bones. And during that bone burning, on the 31st of October, they believed that the veil between the dead and the living was the thinnest because the night became longer than the day. They would also store all of their crops before that, and this was a celebration to get those crops stored properly. See the animals they carved up for winter? So that's where we get the word bonfire. They were burning bones. It turned this guising of ashes so that evil spirits wouldn't recognize you, that you might have pissed off during life, turned into the costume tradition. It's where the word disguise came from. Bonfires became bonfires, of course. All Saints' Day, November 1st, also known as All Hallows' Day, celebrated on all Catholic saints. It's Catholic Saints' Day that do not have their own day of celebration. We celebrate All Hallows' Eve the night before, which we're doing now. We're supposed to be not eating, and I didn't know any of this, and getting ready for a big celebration for tomorrow. It's supposed to be a day of fast. And us going out to ask for these free foods, that's supposed to be eaten tomorrow, not tonight. This is where the celebration, this is where celebrated those who passed and refused to move on. It was a day to usher them into the afterlife. It was also when the night became longer than the day. It was thought that the veil was the thinnest between living and the dead. If I'm saying things over and over, it's because, again, a lot of information. Any spirit could come to attack you as it was celebrated. So that brought in guising. So the demons can't tell who you are. That's the ash all over your face. And you can recognize your past ancestors and reveal yourself to them only without having to worry about the rest of the evil spirits you might have pissed off during their lives, who could not recognize you because of the ashes. The pumpkin was originally a turnip, Trickery Jack, carried around since he tricked the devil, but so evil he could not get into hell, could not get into heaven. Tricked the devil with a coin and tricked him into a bet where he couldn't go to hell either. I guess, like they said, he's going to walk around with his turnip until the day of judgment. The Irish brought this tradition to the U.S. and traded the turnip for the, obviously, pumpkin, because it was much easier. Elizabeth Krabs in 1913 organized a party in Kansas in the U.S. A lot of Irish kids moved to Kansas, and they would put on disguises and vandalize everyone's homes and crops. And her property was vandalized every year. So her idea was this. Her party was going to be so big that it would tire the kids out so they couldn't stay up all night and they couldn't vandalize the whole town. The first year, it didn't work out. She woke up, everything was vandalized around the town. The second year, she had this huge costume party. She had bands. She had all kinds of apple bobbing, all kinds of things that she created. She created to try to tire the kids out so they wouldn't put on these disguises and vandalize properties, i.e. trick or treat, right? I'll show you that in a bit. To tire the kids out so they wouldn't vandalize. The first year did not work out, so she had the largest celebration in 1914, and that ended up spreading around the U.S. on how to tire these kids out. They celebrate all day with all this apple bobbing, all these bands and things of this nature. And, then it was commercialized in the 1920s and 30s by the companies here in the U.S. This was 1913, and her first successful party was 1914, and that technique spread quickly around the U.S. In Western Europe, the holiday, especially in Ireland, morphed into a night where children would put on disguises or costumes and go vandalize everyone's homes. In fact, they moved to America in the later part of the 1800s, and it morphed by Miss Krabs. She often is said the inventor of Halloween, but she's not, as mentioned above. All right, we got that. All right, witches. What do y'all know about witches? We got any witches out there? The origin of witches. Early witches were people who practiced witchcraft, using magic spells and calling upon spirits for help or to bring about change. Most witches were thought to be pagans doing the devil's work. Many, however, were simply natural healers, or so-called wise women who chose of a profession that was misunderstood. It's unclear exactly when witches came on the historical scene, but one of the earliest records of a witch is in the Bible, in the book of Samuel 1. Miss Teresa, Samuel 1, thought to be written between 931 BC and 721 BC, so that's the Old Testament. It tells of the story when King Saul sought the witch of Endor to summon the dead prophet Samuel's spirit to help him defeat the Philistines' army. The witch roused Samuel, who then prophesied the death of Saul and his sons. The next day, according to the Bible, Saul's sons died in the battle, and Saul committed suicide. Other Old Testament verses condemn witches, such as the oft-cited Exodus 22:18, which says, "Thou shalt not suffer a witch to live." Additional biblical passages caution against divination, chanting, or using witches to contact the dead. So that's the first time. I can't believe it's mentioned that many times in the Old Testament. And y'all know, I'm sure, about the Salem witch trials in 1692. Sure, a lot of people, it's kind of like, if you weren't a witch, you still drowned. And if you were, you didn't. I mean, what a crummy setup that was, right? For the witches. But Massachusetts sucks, so. Why do witches ride broomsticks? The history behind the legend of the broomstick. The evil green-skinned witch flying over her magic broomstick may be a Halloween icon and a well-worn stereotype, but the actual history behind how witches came to be associated with such an everyday household object is anything but dull. It's not clear exactly when the broom itself was first invented, but the act must have been a long time ago. The act of sweeping goes back to ancient times when people likely used bunches of thin sticks, reeds, and other natural fibers to sweep aside dust or ash from a fire or hearth. Louder writes, this household task even shows up in the New Testament, which dates to the 1st and 2nd centuries A.D., which is the word broom comes from the actual plant or shrub that was used to make many of the early sweeping devices. The broom. It gradually was replaced the Old English word besom, though both terms appear to have been used until at least the 18th century. From the beginning, brooms and besoms were associated primarily with women, and this ambiguous household object became a powerful symbol of female domesticity. Despite this, the first witch to confess to riding a broom or besom was a man. I mean, I feel like we're in today's world. Guillaume Edelin. Edelin was a priest from Saint Germany in Ley near Paris. He was arrested in 1453 and tried for witchcraft after publicly criticizing the church. Don't do that. And the church's warnings about witches. His confession came under torture, and he eventually repented, but was still in prison for life. Only imprisoned? Wow. By the time of Edelin's confession, which anyone would have done, even if you weren't a witch, the idea of witches riding around on broomsticks was already well established. The earliest known image of a witch on a broomstick dates back to 1451, when two illustrations appeared in the French poet Martin Lafranc's manuscript Le Champion des Dames, the Defender of Ladies. In the two drawings, one woman soars through the air on a broom, the other flies aboard a plain white stick, both wearing headscarves that identify them as Waldersanians, members of a Christian sect founded in the 12th century who were branded as heretics by the Catholic Church. Boy, the Catholic Church just sucks. Partly because they allowed women to become priests. That's why they were branded. All right, we'll continue. It's about time for Miss Teresa to read, as a matter of fact. Let's see if I can get through this quicker here. So this is wrong. Trick or treat is not known as guising, but I will say that they go from house to house and beg for sweets. It started out being some kind of bread, sweet bread that they wanted. And if you don't give it to them, they vandalize your home. And this all started in the United Kingdom and Ireland, as you can see here. And almost every country in the world, they say, has a Halloween or a dead day, if you will. Some kind of ceremony to the dead, and most all of them happen on, of course, October 31st, because there's so many Christians and Catholics around the world now. And y'all must understand that all these other sects of Christianity broke off from the Catholic Church, right? Thus, you can go to Spain, you can go to Mexico, you can go to Canada, you can go anywhere, and they're going to have the Night of the Dead, the Day of the Dead, some name for Halloween or All Hallows Eve, which is really a time that we are supposed to, fast and get ready for tomorrow, which is All Saints Day or All Hallows Day, meaning, of course, right? I am not into you know this, William, you know this about me. We've discussed it so many times. I'm not into brick and mortar. I believe that everyone's relationship with their creator should be them and their creator, right? That's what I believe. And I really thank y'all so much for the prayer last night. Can y'all believe it's a true story? I wish I could take a picture on my phone and show y'all. We're on the phone for 5 hours and we finished all but 5 questions of every assignment. So she was able to go and her mom was still being wicked. So I went and I was the driver tonight. That's where I've been, which was kind of fun. I won't lie. We made a little fun of Mom on the way. I'm sure it'll come back to haunt me, but it was well worth it. Everyone knows her in my truck, so everyone was laughing their asses off at my jokes. So you can go to Great Britain, Ireland, Puerto Rico, Mexico, Spain. You can go anywhere. United States, Canada, and it's a very widespread situation. I wanted y'all to look. You can ask for money in some countries. I wish that was here. I wanted to give y'all the name of the sweet bread that they originally wanted in the early 1800s over in Ireland and the UK, but I just don't see it. And I do apologize about that. Why? Oh, this is it. Why do we say trick or treat? Watch this. Forgetting to shout trick or treat to your neighbors as a kid before shoving your hands in their candy dish was considered one of the highest offenses you could commit on Halloween. But for so many, it feels like we've been saying it for such a long time that no one actually knows what trick or treat means or where it came from. As with most Western holidays, its origin is steep in ancient practices and medieval Christian co-opting, stealing pagan holidays as usual and making them their own. But eventually, I don't like the church. I won't lie to you. You can call it the church, call it whatever you want. I think they're a bunch of money-hungry, not what I'm looking for. I don't think that there's anything in any of the Bibles that say I'm supposed to give money for some guy to go out and buy 5 Bentleys, right? All right, let's see what they were after. The phrase trick or treat came a long time after the idea of going from house to house asking for goodies had started up. Though dressing up during sowing festivities in ancient Celtic communities, really that was putting ash on your face so that the bad demons couldn't recognize you, laid the foundation for trick-or-treating. It was really medieval souling, which is really guising. It started the model for modern candy caroling. Evidence of souling in medieval Europe shows that people would travel door to door and offer prayers to people's souls that were struck in purgatory. I told y'all this is all about moving on from purgatory. In return, the dead relatives would give these well-wishers soul cakes. Okay? I guess that's the name of the sweet cake that they had. While souling was a Catholic practice and occurred on All Souls Day, November 2nd, the door-to-door treating that professionals murmur costume performers enacted carried on the 19th century. What does trick-or-treating mean? Well, I think we all know what it means. Either you give me, I'm going to hide in disguise, you give me what I ask for, if it's money, or if it's candy, or whatever I ask for, or I'm going to vandalize your home and your crops. That's actually what it meant. I'm not even kidding with y'all. I wish I was kidding, but I'm not. And, of course, everyone knows, we talked about this being an autumn festival. I was looking, I didn't know if that was the name of the cake that they went out for. We're going to have Miss Teresa now, guys, call in. And if anyone has anything to add, yeah, y'all give us a thumbs up, please, guys. Again, I wish I could have organized it a little bit better, but I had dad duties till 6 in the morning, and then they started again because Mom didn't follow through with what she promised, and I wasn't going to let that happen. Oh, my phone is in my pocket. Miss Tracy is calling. James Kaufman, World News Report today.
Good evening.
So, did you hear me? I hope you did. It's a true story. It's unbelievable.
It's wonderful. Soul cake. It was called soul cake.
Okay. Yeah, we did get that just now. We got that far. I don't know if you heard.
I did hear you. I was calling you.
Yeah, there was a little delay, I'm sure, about a minute. But we got this old cake, and they would vandalize your house, or they would help your people move from purgatory on by singing carols. That was the deal. So here
They were making donuts.
You are right now?
No, that's what they were doing. Baking donuts. That's soul cake.
Okay, I didn't know what soul cake was, but the bread of God's sake in return. That's why they call it. It's called Peo por Dios, or the bread of God's sake, for treats in return for singing and ushering their ancestors out of purgatory into the afterlife. So hopefully everyone learned some. I know I did.
Yeah, very interesting. I've been listening.
Right. Well,
I've enjoyed it very much.
well, and I wish it would have been more encompassing. I don't know if there's something I forgot, and if there's something that anyone else wants to cover, but if you do,
I loved it. I just loved all of it. It was well done, sir. Well done.
Well, it was.
How about 1 Peter 5?
Yes, ma'am. First Peter. Can you believe she called me and we've never ever Apple whatever for 6 hours. She showed me with her phone, and I thought I was smart, man. These kids are smart today, man. I hated that I didn't know the answer to the last 4 or 5 math questions on the test.
Did you help her with them?
I helped her with every single assignment, and then I know I got the first 15 right out of 20, and she understood, and I explained everything to her. Then we got to the last 5, and they were super hard. But at least for each question, I said, well, we know it's not A because of this, and we know it's not C because of this. So we know it's either B or D. Put a check by those, and when I come over tomorrow, I get some paper in front of me. And by the time I woke up, she had turned it in at like 6:45. So she must have figured she already had a 75 on that test. And if she got a few right? out of the 5. But I'm someone that wants 100. You know that. And I definitely want her to get 100 for sure, right? Anyway,
I'm just so happy.
I think y'all did that. I really do. I can't explain it any other way.
Of course. It's like, I know that was you, God. Thank you.
Here, I'm going to read the text that I got at 1 o'clock here. Let's see. Oh, KK. Let's see. We were talking so much on text. That was the first time I had learned. There's some things I don't understand, Dad. Are you still up? I have to get this done by tonight or I can't do anything for Halloween. Okay, I can help. Can we use Chat GTP? I don't know.
I'm surprised she didn't say, can you come over?
Well, I'd be afraid to. The wife totally was angry that a father would help last night and get everything done. She said there's no way, we need to let her fail and teach her a lesson. And really, that's nice. What's that purple thing that you sent a picture of, Miss Teresa? What the hell is that?
That's what I asked you. Somebody took that in Iowa tonight.
Never seen anything like that.
Isn't that wild?
It's more than wild.
One of my friends took that in the state of Iowa tonight.
All right, I'm going to send these to my Gmail, and after you talk, we'll pull it up and show these people. And she's legit and everything?
Yeah.
I've never seen anything like that. It went through. Let me send that next one. I've never seen anything like that.
I thought, wow, what a pretty colored purple.
Yeah, but
Some kind of a portal.
I wonder if it's that crap they're doing over there. Isn't that funny? They wouldn't turn off, so they had another X flare today.
Yeah. What causes purple? Red and green?
I'll have to look that up, believe it or not.
It was a pretty color purple.
Just like I told my daughter, Now tell me about the gang I see here. Your trick-or-treating gang.
My babies.
God, I thought that it was a lady. Until I looked real close, I thought that was an older lady on the left.
We got a bunny and a wolf.
Yeah, I thought it was an older lady. She looks now about 5, but at first I was like, whoa. How old are that? We got 1-year-old and a 5-year-old?
2 and 4.
Yeah, I was kind of close. All right. Well, all right. So I sent those, and we can't look at them after you're done if you'd like. I'd love for everyone to see them and give their opinion on them. I will say I've never, ever seen anything like it. If they're real, it's wild.
It's real.
So I'll put the phone over there as a habit. All right. So I have to the elders and the flock.
And mine says, to elders and young men. To the elders among you, I appeal as a fellow elder, a witness of Christ's sufferings, and one who also will share in the glory to be revealed. Be shepherds of God's flock that is under your care, serving as overseers, not because you must, but because you are willing, as God wants you to be, not greedy for money, but eager to serve, not lording it over those entrusted to you, but being examples to the flock. And when the chief shepherd appears, you will receive the crown of glory that will never never fade away. Young men, in the same way, be submissive to those who are older. All of you, clothe yourselves with humility toward one another, because God opposes the proud, but gives grace to the humble. Humble yourselves, therefore, under God's mighty hand, that he may lift you up in due time. Cast all your anxiety on him, because he cares for you. Be self-controlled and alert. Your enemy, the devil, prowls around like a roaring lion, looking for someone to devour. Resist him, standing firm in your faith, because you know that your brothers throughout the world are undergoing the same kinds of sufferings. And the God of all grace, who called you to his eternal glory in Christ, after you have suffered a little while, will himself restore you and make you strong and firm and steadfast. To him be the power forever and ever. Amen.
All right.
And then it just goes on to say, peace to all of you who are in Christ.
Well, I just thought it was a miracle getting that call and being able to work with her for 5 hours.
God answers prayers.
And then it's almost like the ex-wife was mad that she got to do Halloween. I'm like, she's 13. She stayed up till 6:45 in the morning. So anyway, I got the whole, you shouldn't be working with it those hours. I got everything she could think of. And so she was refusing to take them. I said, okay, I'll do it. No problems. No problems. Which I hope, I'm sure the other mother was very, very dependable. So I'm guessing they're being picked up in 14 minutes. But I appreciate your reading. Is there anything you want to add about this, Miss Teresa? I want to show you these pictures. Can I do that?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
The purple spot in the sky.
Yeah, I mean, it's the only pictures.
It's got to be some kind of a hologram or something. I don't know what they're doing.
God, you gotta be tired of these people. All right, guys.
That was near Davenport.
And you're gonna get mad at me. Is that in Iowa?
Yeah, Iowa.
Okay. I don't know the northern central plains that well. There's no oil there, so I'm not sure. I guess south of North Dakota there is. I've been there, but there's an area there that doesn't have a lot of oil, so I haven't traveled there. Wish I would have, but no one paid my way. Does anyone know what the heck that could be? It lights.
Isn't it?
You can see there's some kind of storm cloud here.
It's very cloudy here today.
Is it? And I have another one.
A blanket of gray thick clouds. Just a blanket.
And now, did y'all end up really getting any tornadoes, or did they subside yesterday?
We had high wind and rain.
Let me make sure and see if I got them both. And I'm going to look at my phone just to make sure these are both of them. They're very similar, but I might have.
Yeah, they are real similar.
I might have hit. So let me just check real quick. Yeah, they're very similar. This one's the flatter of the two, and there's one that's more circular. So let me see if I got them both real quick. If not, it's easy. I'll just right now forward.
Well, if it's a ship, it's a big one.
Oh, gosh, I hope it's not a ship. So that's all we need. So I'll send another one in just in case. See how this one's elongated? Let's see if the other one that I have is elongated. You can see this is my private email, guys. And I think the one that's coming in right now is going to be different, actually. So let me update this. And it did not come in. Well, it should have. These are all of her assignments. Every time she turns something in, I get an email, which makes my phone buzz, which is fine. I'd rather not.
That's absolutely way to stay on top of things.
Yeah, well, if not me, then who, right? Yeah, it's almost like my dad is not happy about the ex. It's almost like she wants her to pay some sort of toll or price. You know what? These kids are having such a hard time after this silly COVID thing that
they really are. It's very, very hard.
You know, they don't need to be paying any prices, in my opinion. Well, y'all get the gist of it. Has anyone ever seen anything? Oh, there it is. There's the other one right there. Has anyone ever seen anything like this? You can see the dark cloud in the background right here. If y'all see this, it's almost... I'm not going to try to guess. I'm glad I'm not living in that house right there is all I can say, right? Pretty wild stuff. And especially, imagine how... And it's not going to be northern light. It's just see how dark that cloud is right there? Look at that. See that? I mean, that's heavy cloud cover.
And all day it was like that. Just a blanket of thick gray, dark gray.
I just can't imagine what could come through that much cloud cover that's that dark and light it up that much. I'm sure you put this on Facebook, yeah?
I didn't. I took it off of Facebook from my friend.
Oh, okay. Well, I would love anyone's opinions for sure, and so would Miss Teresa, I know, because I can't think of one possible thing that it could be.
I thought it was a pretty picture and interesting and a lovely lavender color.
Yeah, I agree with all that, but there's something devilish about it because of how dark this cloud line is here.
And it's circular and it gets darker in the middle.
Yeah, look at it.
And you can go like way in there.
I mean, guys, that's a lot of energy, light, radiation. One of those.
All of the above, right there.
Right there. I don't know. I would, if I really don't believe. I happen to know a lot of things that you guys don't know, unfortunately. Like Lou Alessandra that said he worked for ATIPS. That was really I'll tell you all right now what it is. Y'all are going to be the only ones that know this. YouTube took my story down. Lou never worked for that program, although the program exists. That was a program to pay Harry Reid, the dead senator from Nevada now. Remember when he had two black eyes and they had an excuse for that one? To pay his biggest campaign contributor, which is Ed Bigelow Aerospace. But remember, Bigelow Aerospace wasn't actually invented till after the $26 million grant to buy Skinwalker Ranch, which then he had turned around and sold and kept all the money. And there was no aerospace company. This was just a slush fund to pay the guy back for all the years of millions of dollars of campaign contributions. And that's the same time the DOD put out the Go Fast and the Tic Tac. They were covering for Harry Reid at the time. And I know this from such a good source, and YouTube flipped out. And Lou runs around the country acting like he was really part of that. I've got an interview with the real guy that runs the program. The real guy that runs that program. It's called a little bit something different, but Lou never was involved. Lou is a patsy. And that's the truth, guys. If y'all find out about Skinwalker Ranch and Bigelow Aerospace and look up the staff. It's closed now, right? The staff was tarot card readers. The staff was remote viewers. The staff were not scientists or physicists or anything like that. And they never, ever looked into anything except for what we call paranormal. No actual UAPs or UFOs. They dropped those because the whole scam or slush fund was getting so close to being busted. They dropped the Go Fast and TikTok. And I'm guessing those are advanced U.S. drones of some sort, because I don't think a human can ride that fast. Or it's Memorex, one of the two. And that is the truth, guys. I have the very best source in the world, is all I can tell you.
Well, you only get the truth here, so you can take it to the bank.
You can take that to the bank. I wouldn't put my name on it, my life on it, unless I knew it was the truth this time. I actually had an interview with the guy that really runs the program, which is still going. Lou acted like he quit so he could be on the History Channel and be interviewed all around the world. But again, it was really just another slush fund to pay a Democrat back. Boy, I love Democrats. What do y'all think? What do y'all think? We're going to win this election? Now, I'm not voting for Kamala, by the way. I'll tell you all that right now. If y'all were wondering. Or the Patriot, the garbage. Is the garbage going to win the election?
No. I'm going to say goodnight, sending much love to everyone.
Hey, lots of love to you. You didn't hear Biden call us garbage?
Yes, I did.
Oh, I was like, huh? Heck, I thought deplorable was bad enough, but no, worse. I will say, when I went to vote yesterday, guys, only the people that work for the DNC were at their table. The other 200,000 people had red on and were in line.
Kennedy is still on our ballot.
Oh, and he tried to get off of the Supreme Court. They wouldn't let him today or yesterday.
Yeah, he's on our ballot.
And he couldn't mess things up. Hopefully everyone's smart enough not to vote for him, but you never know. People like to make points that really aren't points. They just.
And there was another thing that you're supposed to watch for, that Donald J. Trump's name is misspelled.
Is it really?
And there's some kind of false ballots with the misspelling of his name.
Is that right?
That's what I heard.
I'll look it up. Was that
okay.
you? Was that you?
I'll let you go. Good night.
All right. God bless you. All right. If anyone wants to say anything about Halloween, and I'll take a look and see if anyone. I wouldn't say a roar through that cloud like that. The new Skinwalker Ranch. The new one is just some millionaire that bought it from Bigelow, and they just run that on the History Channel. There's nothing there. Yes, minerals or metallic, but there's nothing there. Never has been, never will be. It was all just a slush fund. There's actually someone at the DOD that runs the program, and he gave an interview or two, but now they've been erased from the web as usual. There are about 100 videos I did that I would absolutely kill to have back, because now the information's gone. They've been burning books now for about 2-3 years, and our kids aren't going to believe what we've been through if we're able to defeat what's going on, because all the books have already been burned, and by that I mean all the web pages. These are the new books, right? These are the new books. Oh, I heard that, Mike. Everywhere, even in Tennessee, I heard today. I don't know. I guess Tennessee would be a red state, probably. Y'all want to see the new voting odds? They're bad. They're bad. These are actual odds. He's winning so... Whoa, what the heck? He's winning so much right now, guys. I didn't even know I had another deal going back there. And we didn't have any problems whatsoever, right? Any problems. Must have a third one here, too. Any problems whatsoever with the feed because everything was just trick or treat. It wasn't going to hurt anyone or expose anyone. Let's put it like that. All right, so let's get the voting odds here real quick. And if I see I was looking for Politan. Got it watched. 2 days old, 1 day ago. Can't trust real clear. I will quickly go to Zero Hedge and see if they have it up. They usually have a link on one of the articles to Politan. There it is. Live election. Polymarket took another $1 million bet in today. She's come back quite a bit today, but look at those odds. Now, they'll take any kind of bet. Now, you can't live in the U.S. and bet on the presidential election. I'd like to say that, and I'm not encouraging that. But he was up to 67% yesterday, man. I guess, let's see. I wonder what Wisconsin's brown. I've never seen a brown state before. These are kind of red, kind of blue. Trump's in the lead in Wisconsin. Why is it brown? And then PA. Look at Trump killing her in PA while they're busting in people to vote. Unbelievable. You know, he might turn New Hampshire and New Jersey, it looks like. They're keeping them blue on this, and these people will take your bet here. You can see, I don't know what happened today, but Trump went from 67% yesterday, if y'all recall. And Harris only had 33%, and there's been, well, some, they're thinking, God, these people are gonna. Nebraska, look, Nebraska, wow. Nebraska must be the bluest, the reddest state in the world. Look at Oklahoma, Oklahoma is. They're going to probably try to flood Florida, Louisiana, and Texas. If y'all look at my deal, I put AI on to show you where those storms are going. They're going to hit right here, and they're going to hit this part of Florida here. And if nothing else, it's going to be pouring down rain for everyone on Election Day on Tuesday. I did put a video out on that just a few minutes ago with AI bringing us through Tuesday. And I would have guessed that Alaska, God, he's killing her. Look at this. If we're talking popular vote, this is not even close. Let's see what we've got in California. Golly. Just put a fence up. if we put a fence up through here, I love you, Dr. Joy, but if we put a fence up through here, we could be through with a lot of problems here. Although so many people in New York seem to be on Trump's side, and they already said that New Hampshire looked like it could be turning. These numbers don't indicate that. She came back quite a bit today, guys, from yesterday, which is more than worrisome. More than worrisome. I don't know what would have caused that. I guess we're just garbage. We're not deployable anymore. We're garbage. So happy Halloween to everyone. I know it's over. God bless everyone. If anyone can help with a cup of coffee, it's always in the description. Always a reply to the first comment. And I won't lie, times are as tough with YouTube and me being a conservative as they ever have been. With that said, lots of love out there. Appreciate each and every one of y'all, and I wish y'all only the best. I understand that if you can't buy a cup of coffee right now, trust me, I can hardly buy one too. So just share our videos. I realize that most people think we're crazy, and most everyone has made up their mind. But you know what? I'm about to do a lot of videos about this intern, this period of time after Trump wins the election, which he's going to win this election, and what could possibly happen between then and January 6th, which is about 61 days. 61 days. Could be 62 days if you want to get technical. It's a very dangerous 62 days. I would like him in some kind of bomb shelter or something. But that's me, right? That's me. While he figures out who's going to be fired, which is everybody, hopefully. I think the government should be about 10% of how large it is currently. That would be the best thing. And I think that all the IRS should be gotten rid of. I think a 5 to 6% sales tax will cover everything and lots of tariffs. And that way no one has to worry about all the headache from the IRS and the millions of employees and their pensions and all the crap. A 5% sales tax. You spend $1, you pay 5%. You spend $10,000, you pay $50. Right? That's what we need. God bless. Please share, subscribe. Always remember, anything's possible in bizarro world. Good night, Darlene. Much love, Mike Johnson. It's magic. Hexafoos, good to see you. Thank y'all. God bless.